We do have office hours beginning on Wednesday at noon. So every Wednesday at noon, if you have any additional questions, just you can just pop into our office, our virtual office, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. We also have our social media, TU Engage on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so we're most updated with that information. So if you want to see what's happening in our office or what's going on, check out our social media. We're always updating that. So before we jump in, I have a little activity for you all. So if you all can go to menti.com, you can either go to it on your phone or you can go to it on your computer. So go to menti.com and then type in this code. And you will get, there's a prompt on there. And so with the prompt, I want you to rank the service and the level of activities based on, so I want you to rank the following activities in terms of community service, with 1 being the highest and 5 being the lowest. And this is just in your view. So based on these activities, which one do you think most deems community service, and with 5 being the lowest, which isn't really community service in your eyes? Was everyone able to get to the link?
I got to it.
Okay, awesome. All right, can everyone see the screen? Can I share it again? Share. Oh, sorry. It's menti.com, and then this is the link. Can you see it? 490935. All right. Can everyone see the results?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I know we all have different results. We might have all had different answers, but it seems like for number 1, it's jumping. Okay. First it was voting. So it seems like serving dinner once a week at a homeless shelter is what most people deem as like, that's totally definitely service. Second runner up is mentoring a middle school student. Third is talking to someone on the phone that feels isolated. Fourth is voting. And then 5th is giving $50 to the United Way. Okay, awesome. How was that? Does anyone want to share either in the chat or just share, turn off their mic? How was that ranking? Was it difficult to rank these? How did you decipher what to put as number 1?
Well, I think it's easy to rank, actually, when you think about it, because if you think about it, it's like in the eyes of like what is morally right, what is more morally right than the other, then it's, it's about, okay, obviously actual face-to-face service is much better than donating money. Giving your time is more valuable than giving your money. And when you see that, it's like serving dinner once a week at a homeless shelter. Okay, that's actually giving your time. Do you mind going back to that slide for a bit?
Yeah. You see it?
It's good because when you think about it, you need to, by giving, your time there, I think honestly voting would actually be less, because still, like, I know voting's a good form of community, not really, I don't know, it's more like your civic duty rather than community service. But giving $50, at least you're doing something to a charity.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
I can share. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, my list was completely different, but because for me, I put kind of like the personal connection and what might be needed at the time. So I put the phone about isolation. I did that one as number 1 for me, because I felt like if you can just touch one person and help them in their moment of need, that is still service to my community. Therefore, I put that as 1, and like mentoring a middle school student, and then the dinner. And voting was last because that's a right we get. So it's really like a privilege to me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I don't know. I base it off of the connections I make to people.
Okay. Awesome. Does one more person want to share?
So while I did put $50 thing as like my fourth option, in my mind they were all kind of about equal, because yes, serving dinners to homeless shelters is really good to do.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say donating the $50 to United Way or any other charity might help even more people than just serving a dinner? Because there's a bunch of ways to coupon or find people who are willing to take that $50 and give you a bunch more for the food for the homeless shelter. So then you can feed even more people than just the people you're serving. And there's other ways to give out food than needing someone specifically there. And eventually we will get to that point. Mentoring a child will help them understand their homework in a way maybe someone in their family couldn't. Like I learned early on, because my parents didn't really finish high school, I had no one to help me with my school. I was on my own unless if teachers would take their lunch breaks. So then that's helping someone who has no other resources as well. And most people don't see that, but children are our future. They need to be built up. Talking on the phone with someone that feels isolated. A lot of people just see isolated and don't think of anything dramatic, but sometimes that can mean working at a suicide hotline, meaning you're making a life or death situation for someone not so drastic anymore, and you could help them continue living. With voting, yes, it's seen as a right, but there's still a lot of people that won't go out there and vote when it could, again, we had, no offense to anyone's political opinions, but we had Trump for president because a lot of people were confident that he wouldn't be voted in. So a lot of people didn't vote when he was running that first time. So voting is something that's also important to do. So for me, it's not really something where this should be ranked in order of what's the highest, what's the lowest. They're all important and you got to do what you can. Now, if there's some things that you can't do, then yes, do what you can, because some people don't have the money to donate, but they can give their time. Some people aren't the best speakers, so for them, talking on the phone wouldn't be something they should do, but they could be a good teacher. So it's one of those things where it's like, what is in your skill set and what can actually help other people with your skill set and your resources.
Awesome. Thanks, Z. Drop the mic. Thank you. That was great. Thank you for everyone who responded. And so I think you all three hit the nail on the head. Based on your experiences, you all had different responses about what service looked like. And that's how it is for all of us. Based on our experiences, culture, values, we all look at service in different ways. And you're right, Z, all of these are touching on service. They just look different. So whether it's donating money, whether it's donating time, or whether it's voting, these are all acts of service. They just look different. And so that's why I wanted to do this activity with you all, just to get a better understanding of how we look at service, and also to make you think service isn't one size fits all. It looks different. And especially in the midst of a pandemic, it's gonna look really different. So just think about that as I continue to present. But thank you all for sharing. Let me go back to this. So what is service? So community service is defined as something that's completed at a nonprofit organization, a 501 nonprofit organization, and you're basically giving a community or providing a service for a community or skill in need. And this is usually done without receiving payment or remuneration for services completed. So when we think of community service, we typically think of that direct service where we're directly working with the population, or we kind of see how our service has impacted someone directly. Fundraising and philanthropy is a desire to promote the welfare of others, expressed especially by a generous donation through money or gifts or in kinds of good causes. And so it's still a form of service, but it's more so that indirect service. So if you're donating money to United Way, or if you're donating a good to a nonprofit organization that really needs those resources, it's still serving, but it's just in a different way. So because of COVID, I know typically you all are used to doing that direct service, but with COVID, this semester, we're gonna include a mixture of indirect and direct service. So whichever way you choose to serve with your student organization is fine, but I encourage you to think about your own mission for your student organization and ways that you can directly and indirectly serve communities, and also having to be creative, because we might not be able to do that direct service. And so how can we be creative and still support different communities? Okay, so I'm gonna go through a list of ways that you can get involved and do some service. These are gonna be the virtual realm. So if you wanna virtually serve with your student organization, these are gonna be some ways that you can do that. One way you can do that is through notes of encouragement. So a lot of people are feeling isolated right now with COVID. A lot of people are missing that one-on-one interaction, or that interpersonal, or that personal interaction that they usually get from someone when they're standing in front of them. And so note writing is a great way to support the community, to let people know that you're thinking of them, that you see them, that you're appreciative of them. And I'm gonna list a couple of opportunities or nonprofits that are accepting notes. In this slide, I have a bunch of different people because different populations are accepting notes. I think sometimes when we think of notes, we think of like the elderly population, but I have a list of organizations where you can actually send notes of encouragement to different populations in the Baltimore area and then also nationally. In terms of guidelines, 5 letters equals 1 hour of service, and then 10 letters equals 2 hours of service. So the first nonprofit is Operation Gratitude. We actually worked with them last semester as an office. And so with Operation Gratitude, their goal is really to forge bonds between Americans and their military and first responder heroes through projects, acts of gratitude, and meaningful engagements. And so through Operation Gratitude, you can send a letter as an individual or with your student organization to military and veterans and first responders, and then also frontline workers. So thinking about frontline workers or essential workers, people who have been working during the pandemic, from like the beginning of the pandemic now, who still have to go into work, thinking about them and like giving an acknowledgement to them, like, hey, I see what you're doing. I really appreciate what you're doing, because I don't know if we, recognize them enough. So with Operation Gratitude, you're able to send either handwritten letters or typed letters. And also all the organizations I mentioned will be hyperlinked. So I believe you'll be able to get this PowerPoint presentation. So if I go too fast or if you need more information, it will be hyperlinked. And so you can access it whenever you need to. Love for Our Elders is another organization that works specifically with our elderly population. It was actually started by college students. And so their mission is really to make sure that no one feels alone. And so they want to fight isolation in senior communities through handwritten letters, videos, and stories. And so they send these letters. Once you send these letters to them, they send it to elderly people in elderly communities nationwide. If you want something more local, we do have a partnership with Ian Wald Retirement Center, which is a couple blocks from Towson, and they're also receiving letters as well. So if you are interested in sending letters more locally, let me know and I can send you their mailing information. Another population that is also accepting letters is the Baltimore Hunger Project. The mission of the Baltimore Hunger Project is dedicated to eliminating the growing problem of weekend childhood hunger. So thinking about the weekends, I know some students are able to receive free lunch during the week as part of their school program, but on the weekends, what happens to that? Or what happens to those children if they're hungry? So Baltimore Hunger Project provides meals for students on the weekends. And in those, so each weekend, students or children receive a little bag with a meal in it. And then in each bag, they ask for volunteers to put in a word of encouragement. So it's a little note card just saying a word of encouragement, an affirmation like you're awesome or have a great day. And the kids love receiving that in their lunch boxes. So they are looking for volunteers just to provide that. So if you're a great artist, I definitely recommend that you do this with your student organization. We did this last semester where we just had a Zoom call. People came on board and they either wrote their letter or they either wrote a note of encouragement or drew a note of encouragement, or they used Canva. So if art is really not your thing, you can definitely use Canva, and there are some guidelines that they ask for. So just make sure your picture on Canva matches those guidelines, and then you can print it out and then mail it to the Baltimore Hunger Project so that they can get those letters. So they are always receiving notes of encouragement to put in those lunch boxes or those lunch meals. Another opportunity is Liberation Library. So the mission of Liberation Library is to provide books to youth who are currently in prison. And this is just a way to encourage them to have more of an imagination and to connect with the outside world since they're not able to. And so with each book that's donated, they put in a bookmark. And so they ask for volunteers to create some type of bookmark with just an affirmation or something about books, a quote, whatever you want. And they put that in the book, and when the book is sent to those youth, they receive the bookmark. And so they're always accepting bookmarks, and they're also accepting books. So if you have a lot of books in your house, or if you know someone who has a lot of books, definitely check them out. They're always taking books. I think on their website, though, they have some guidelines. So they're not accepting all books, they accept specific books. So make sure you check them out. Chemo Angels is another way that you can get involved and send a note of encouragement. So with Chemo Angels, this is a really great organization. They really want to provide support to people who currently have cancer. So they're either battling a cancer diagnosis or they're going through chemotherapy. If you can only imagine, that is very, very isolating. And sometimes it can be really, really sad for those patients. And so they're looking for Chemo Angels to send notes of encouragement to patients that are currently battling cancer or undergoing chemotherapy. The thing with Chemo Angels, though, is they are looking for someone who's committed. So they want the same volunteer to send a letter or note of encouragement to the same patient. So if you want to if you can do more of a commitment, this is what they're asking for. But each week you're just sending that, and then I think you have the option to receive letters from them. So it's kind of like a pen pal back and forth, but you're just really encouraging them through their process or through their journey, and providing them with that additional, support and appreciation and encouragement that they might need. If letters aren't your thing, totally fine. In lieu of sending a letter, 6 Feet Closer is actually a nonprofit that uses technology and media to connect the world. It was created out because of COVID. They knew that people weren't able to have connections in the same way. And so with this, they are looking for volunteers just to send a 30-second note of encouragement to people who are nominated, people that are nominated. So people that are nominated are usually frontline workers, or anyone can nominate someone. So it could be a frontline worker, it could be a teacher, it could be a neighbor, just someone that you think would need some type of encouragement. You just send a 30-second clip to them, you get their name, you send a 30-second clip to them just saying, I see what you're doing, I'm really, really proud of you, keep doing what you're doing, just some type of encouragement. And it's sent to people. Everything is anonymous, so your number isn't sent. And they anonymously send your video to people who have been nominated. If this is an initiative you're interested in, they're also looking for ambassadors. So if you want to start it at Towson, we don't have it at Towson yet. If you want to start it at Towson, they are looking for college ambassadors. So with this link, you can copy this link down, or when you get this slide, with this link, you'll be able to learn more about the program and ways that you can get a little more involved. All right, let me know if you have any questions or if I'm moving too fast. An additional way to get involved is through tutoring and mentoring. There's a huge need for tutors and mentors right now with nonprofits and with K-12 schools, especially with this transition to remote learning. I'm sure you all understand the challenges of that. And so a lot of people are looking for students to serve as mentors and tutors. So these are a couple of organizations right now that are looking for tutors and mentors. So Maryland Mentor, St. Francis Neighborhood, and US Dream Academy. The cool thing with Maryland Mentor is that they have a database, so you can tailor what demographic you want to work with and what age you want to work with. So anyone between K through 12, you have the opportunity to work with them. Their goal is to bridge the mentor gap. So as a mentor, you'd be working with students on career goals, helping them make healthy choices, and also helping them like problem solve. With St. Francis Neighborhood, their goal is to end generational poverty through education, and they are looking for tutors, mentors, and classroom assistants to help with after-school programming for students in K through 8th grade, and these are for students in Baltimore. The U.S. Dream Academy, they work with students who might have parents who are incarcerated or just children who come from underrepresented areas. And so they're looking for mentors to work with students in K through 8th grade in Baltimore. And just keep in mind with these mentorship opportunities, they're asking for more of a consistent consistent commitment. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about what your student organization can do. Think about if you can be committed to this, then definitely go for it. If you don't want to work with students in K through 12, we also have international population of students that you can work with. So with the Esperanza Centers in Baltimore, and they support immigrants by connecting them to resources in the area. And so they are looking for English literacy tutors. So helping people who just came to the US to help with their English speaking skills. And so you're given a prompt, I think you're given a curriculum, and you're able to work with the same student each week to help them with their English literacy skills. Another opportunity is Conversation Partners, which is actually at TU. So international students who are in the English Language Center are matched with TU students, and each week you're able to help them practice their English speaking skills in an informal way. So you might just get a topic and have to talk about that topic. And this is a great way to meet other students who go to Towson. So cool way to build some community and make some connections with other people at Towson. Some additional ways to mentor and get involved. Thread is in Baltimore. Their mission is really to harness the power of relationships through a new social fabric. Thread, get it? And so they're looking for family mentors to work directly with Thread students. And what's cool about Thread is you as a Thread mentor or a family member would work with additional volunteers with one student. And so it's kind of creating this family dynamic for students who just might need a little bit extra help. You can help them with career advice. You can help them with resume help. And so you're doing that as part of a family member. With Hilma's Heart is dedicated to supporting the community in Baltimore in different ways. And one of the ways is through mentoring. And so Tasha, who owns Hilma's Heart, is looking for volunteers to provide mentorship to students who are currently in middle school. So specifically with boys in middle school. So if that is for you, definitely contact Tasha. She's looking for people. And then how many people like music? Do I have any singers in the room, in the virtual room? Any people who write songs, play an instrument? Yeah. You can say yes in the chat, or you can raise your hand. But if you do like music, yes, singers, music, major, awesome. So this might be for you, guitar, awesome. Pulse Mentors is part of Our Living Classrooms. And so they have this program called Pulse. And as a volunteer, you would serve one-on-one as a virtual mentor to elementary school students, to elementary school to high school students, so ages 7 to 19 from your home computer. So no teaching experience or mentorship experience is required. You don't even have to sing that well or like play an instrument that well. They really just want to create a space for for mentors to work with students to kind of own their craft and to be more confident in things that they're interested in and to get those creative juices flowing for students. And then if mentorship or tutoring every week is too much of a commitment for you, there are some additional opportunities. So Hilma's Heart and US Dream Academy are looking for student organizations who might be willing to lead a panel just talking about college to other students. Or if you like watching vlogs on YouTube, they are also looking for students to send a video just recording a day in their life. So a day in the life as a remote college student, how does that look? And so they're accepting videos to show to students, or if you're interested in serving on a panel, just talking to students about college and the experience and ways to get involved, definitely contact Tasha or Renee. They are very, very interested in looking for student orgs to help with that. Cool. And then if you're looking for something a little more flexible, the Maryland SPCA is a animal shelter in Baltimore. Actually, how many of us have pets? Because you need a pet for this. So if you have pets, in the chat, drop what pet you have. But Maryland SPCA is looking for volunteers that have pets, puppies, doggo, who are looking for people who have pets. And what they do is they have children who are ages 5 to 10 log into their computer every Thursday and they read to your pet. So they read to you and your pet. But you must have a pet. You can have a hedgehog, you can have a turtle, you can have a snake, you can have, I think you can even have an ant. You can have any pet, but you just need to make sure that your pet can stay in the room and listen to these children that read. And the cool thing about this is there's flexibility. So you can come one Thursday out of the time it's offered. You can come every Thursday. You can have or you can have members in your organization alternate between which Thursdays they come. But this is very, very flexible. But the only requirement is that you need a pet, so the student or the child can read to the pet. Okay. So now we're going to talk about donations. I know it was on the ranking list, and there's some different views about donations. But the reality is COVID has affected the budget of a lot of nonprofits, a lot of organizations. And so resources that they used to have in the past, they might not have access to it anymore. And so donations is a great way to support the community, especially at this time. So one organization that's taking donations is My Sister's Place. So My Sister's Place provides a safe haven for women in Baltimore City who are experiencing homelessness. And so right now they're taking clothes, they're taking toiletries, they're taking food items, they're taking kitchen items. My Sister's Place also has an Amazon wish list. So if you're not sure what to get, they have a wish list where you can directly purchase these items and then it'll be sent to My Sister's Place. So if fundraising is your thing for your student organization, you want to fundraise some funds, fundraise some money to pay for these things, I definitely encourage you to do that. If you don't have money or the means, that's totally fine. We have 2 additional opportunities. So Leveling the Playing Field is actually a nonprofit that gives underrepresented students or children the opportunity to enjoy the physical and mental benefits of youth participation. And so they donate items to children who are playing a sport who might not have the money or resources to get it. And so they are taking sports equipment. They ask that you use your best judgment when you are sending sports equipment, but if you have any sports equipment in your house that you're not using, definitely donate it. On their website, they have a direct link of what they're accepting and what they're not. So definitely check them out. And then Maryland Book Bank, which is in Baltimore, it's a nonprofit organization committed to cultivating literacy for children in underrepresented neighborhoods. They are accepting all kinds of books. So in their warehouse, they have children's books, they have nonfiction, they have sci-fi, they have all these types of books. And what's cool is anyone can go into the warehouse and pick up a book, and the book is free. So if you have a lot of books in your house, I encourage you to donate books to them, or if you just love reading and you want a free book, Maryland Book Bank is for you. So definitely check those out. Maybe it might be great to work with your student organization to, as a collective whole, to see how many items you can get, whether it be sports equipment or books, and donate that as an organization to Leveling the Playing Field or the Maryland Book Bank. We also have TU Food Share program. So are you all familiar with TU Food Share? Do you all know about it? Please say yes. If you don't, awesome. If you don't, the TU Food Share program is actually a food pantry that we have on campus, and it's open to students faculty and staff members on campus. And so they are currently accepting donations as well. These are some of the things that they are accepting. So paper towels, non-perishable fruits, soap, mac and cheese. And this is directly helping people, us, like our Towson community. So if you have these items, definitely donate them. And if you do donate them and you need them for hours, you need hours, let us know, and you can definitely donate specific items for hours. We also have, so with the TU Food Share program, a lot of people haven't heard about the TU Food Share program. And so one of the ways that we want to get the word out is through social media. And so if you share information on your Instagram stories about the TU Food Share program, so something similar to this, like this type of wording, if you share it in your stories, you get an hour of service. So when you're doing that, you have to make sure that you tag the TU Food Share program, and you have to send a screenshot to me. And you can get an hour of service. So each person in your org, let's say 5 people send this, you'll get 5 hours for your org. And so this is a great way just to help us with promoting it so that more people know about the Food Share program. So that is another opportunity. Next, we're gonna go into community building. So through these organizations, so through Get Food USA, basically this is phone banking. So with COVID, there has been, a lot of people have had a need for food, using food pantries in their neighborhoods. And so as a volunteer with Get Food USA, you would be helping, you would be calling different food pantries in the area to just confirm that they're still operating, confirm their hours, and you would be putting that data into Get Food USA's database. And they would just be sharing that with the community. So basically you're verifying information to make sure that people in the community know that this is a resource that they can use. One Fair Wage is in support of restaurant workers and other hourly workers who have faced economic hardships from COVID. Some people have been let off because of COVID. Some people aren't able to work the same number of hours. And so One Fair Wage provides assistance, financial assistance for these workers. And so they need your help just calling these workers to confirm information. So these workers are filling out an application, and to make sure that they're getting these funds, you're just confirming their information. So these are both ways that you can build community, help other people, and these are both done via phone. So if you're comfortable talking on the phone, these are a great way to serve the community. Another option is the Baltimore Neighbors Network. Let me just make sure I didn't. Okay, Baltimore Neighbors Network. So again, this is all done via phone, but for this was created because of COVID-19. Founders of Baltimore Neighbors Network found that a lot of people were not only isolated, but it was impacting their mental health, especially our elderly Baltimore residents. And so through this, you're able to be matched up with a resident in Baltimore, and you call them each week and you just check in with them. You see how they're doing. If they have questions about different resources, you're given a list of resources to connect them to, and you're just letting them know about it. So it's just a great way to check in on people and to make sure that they're doing okay. And the population is for residents who are elderly. So I believe they're 64 or older. So if your social work is your major, this might be a great opportunity for you. Or if you just want to connect with other people outside in the Baltimore community, this is a great way to connect with people on a weekly basis. Other options are neighborhood cleanups. So I know some people have done this before, where they'll set aside some time in their student organization, they'll set a date, and on that date for an hour or two, people will go and do a cleanup in their own area or own neighborhoods. And so it's kind of like a virtual neighborhood cleanup. And so these are 2 organizations that support that. So Ocean Conservancy, they focus more so on like ocean cleanup or beaches cleanup. So if you are at the beach anytime soon and you want to do a cleanup, definitely visit Ocean Conservancy to see how you can do that. I believe there's an app that you can use that kind of helps you track trash and think about what areas to do that in. And then with Keep America Beautiful, they just want to clean different neighborhoods, trails, parks. They just want to encourage people to clean up different areas in their neighborhood. So if you do plan to do that, they ask that you just tag them, take a picture, and use the hashtag Do Beautiful Things. If you do decide to do either of these options, you do have to document the amount of trash that you collect. So usually we do that through a scale. So you just have to weigh the amount of trash you pick up and send that to me. So if you do decide to do that, or if you are deciding to do that, let me know beforehand so I can support you with that. Awesome. Any questions? No? Okay, I'm gonna keep going because we're getting close to time. So some things that you could do on Towson's campus virtually. With our department, we have a lunch and learn series, a lunch and serve series. So once a month, we invite a nonprofit to come and speak to students about what works is being done, and also ways that students can get involved. So our first one is coming up February 10th, which is next Wednesday from 1 to 2. Baltimore Neighbors Network, I just mentioned them. They're gonna come and talk about the organization, why it started, how you can support, how you can volunteer, how to sign up. So if you're interested, definitely come. With our Lunch and Serve series, you receive an hour of community service just for attending. So definitely just attend. You don't have to sign up for anything, but definitely listen to what Baltimore Neighbors Network is. And if you're not interested, you can share it with somebody else who might be interested. Another service opportunity that we have coming up is the big event. So a lot of you might have are already familiar with the big event. We have it every year. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's basically a time where the whole TU community is volunteering together. So it's one of our biggest campus-wide volunteer initiatives. And so it's happening virtually and in person on April 17th. So if you are interested in serving with your organization, keep that date in mind. We will still be hosting it. So just keep that on your radar. And then if anything I mentioned is not interesting to you, we have some different databases that you can use on your own to find service opportunities. So Idealist and Volunteer Match have different ways that you can get involved. Nonprofits put whatever help they need or support that they need, and you're able to find it that way. And then Catch a Fire is a little more specific. So it's geared toward specific skills you have. So again, with COVID, resources were hit. People don't have as much money in their budget to pay other people. And so they're looking for volunteers to volunteer a skill. So let's say graphic design is your thing or marketing is your thing. Catch a Fire is looking for specific skills that you can use to help their organization. And then I have some in-person service opportunities. So I'm gonna fly by through this because of time. But we have Share Baby, Maryland Book Bank, and Leveling the Playing Field. I spoke about both of these earlier. I put these all together on the same slide because they all are in the same warehouse. So if your student organization wants to volunteer with them, they're all in the same location. They share this huge warehouse. So Share Baby is really connects. It's an opportunity for people to donate items for newborns, and Share Baby provides those items or gives those items to different nonprofits and people in the community who may have just had a baby or who need resources. So as a volunteer, you will be sorting clothing, you'll be wrapping and shelving diapers and bundling items for low-income families. Maryland Book Bank, you're sorting through books, and then they also need help with creating story kits. So they create story kits to kids in Baltimore, like a kit based on a theme, and they ship it out to kids in Baltimore. And so they need help with people creating those story kits. And then with Leveling the Playing Field, they need help sorting and inventorying sports equipment and donations and reorganizing shelves. So if you are interested in in-person service opportunities, this is a great opportunity for you. All of our in-person opportunities only allow a specific number of students to be in a space at a time, and also require that you wear a mask, and they also do temperature checks. So just keep that in mind. Paul's Place is another place that you can volunteer. So Paul's Place really supports people in the community by providing food and resources to people. And so they're looking for people to help support the marketplace. So organizing items in the marketplace that community members can find, and then also serving lunch. So passing lunch out to community members on a daily basis, I believe. Meals on Wheels works with senior citizens, so they deliver meals to people in the community who aren't able to leave their homes. And so each week, Meals on Wheels is looking for volunteers to create these boxes, these meal boxes. And so they're always looking for volunteers to help with that. Intersections of Change, if you're looking for something outdoors, they operate on an urban farm, and they really want to create sustainability by helping people in the community learn how to farm and learn how to cultivate their own community gardens. And so they're asking for volunteers to help with seeding, planting, harvesting, anything that has to do with those community gardens. They're looking for people to support with that, especially as it's getting a little bit colder. Actually, as it's colder, it's not a little bit colder. And then Civic Works. So their goal is to strengthen Baltimore communities through education, skills development, and community service. So they're looking for volunteers to help with their urban farm. And then they're also looking for people to help transform vacant lots. So they take vacant lots and they create it into community gardens. And so they're always looking for help with that. And these are all taking place outside. So even though it's winter, they are still taking place outside. So if you're more comfortable being outside at this time, I definitely encourage you to participate in that. And then lastly, we have University of Maryland St. Joseph Medical Center. So this is right off of Towson's campus. They are looking for volunteers. So if you're in the healthcare realm, this might be for you. So right now, because of COVID, you wouldn't be doing the same type of activities as you would pre-COVID. So a lot of the roles would include reading in the storeroom, helping with inpatient transports, answering phones, stocking, and cleaning. Because of COVID, you probably won't be near physicians or patients because of safety, but they're hoping that this will there will be some type of normalcy in late spring. But for now, they are still accepting volunteers. So if you're interested in that, definitely contact Cheryl. They're also taking letters of encouragement. So if you want to send a letter of encouragement to patients or to doctors, to physicians, to custodial staff, definitely let me know. In a couple of weeks on February 15th, we're going to have a campus-wide campaign. So our department will put a call out, and if you want to send a letter of encouragement to people at St. Joseph Medical Center, I'll be accepting those letters. So if you want to do that as a student organization, keep a lookout on our social media. The week of February 15th to the 19th, it's going to be a Spread the Love campaign, and you'll be able to send your letters to me, and then I'll send it to Cheryl. And then here's my contact info. So again, if you have any questions about anything, let me know. I'm here, I'm available via Zoom, or I'm available via email. If you're thinking about something, if you're thinking about some type of service, definitely let me know. We can troubleshoot together. But yeah, if you have any questions, now is the time. I'm gonna open it up for questions. And also, if you have any service ideas that you've done in the past, definitely drop that in the chat so other people can see it. But thank you. I'm gonna answer, there's some questions in the chat. How many hours of community service do clubs need this year? This is something that you should ask Chris. I am not sure the hours. So when you get back to the other room, I think we're closing, that's a question that you should either ask Chris or someone from SGA. They would have a better answer than me. Will this presentation be made available for you? Yes, I recorded it, so it will be available. I have this presentation ready, so I think it'll be sent to you all, and all the links will be, you can click all these links from there. And then office hour. So if anyone wants to contact me, you can check my email. You can email me and we can set up aside some time to meet. Or if you just want to troubleshoot anything, I'm available. But yeah, any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Hopefully you all were able to get some ideas of how to serve. Again, if you have questions, let me know. And I think right now you all can go back into the other Zoom chat. So I will put that in the chat. Thank you. I'm glad that this was helpful. And have a great rest of the weekend. The weather's going to be nicer today. So definitely
Thank you.
take advantage. Yes.
Yeah, you really did help today. I appreciate it.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Have a good one. And I put the link in the chat for the large group meeting.
Thanks, Binky.
You're welcome.